For this learning activity, we are going to add an icon to a couple of pages and then publish several. Now, to get started, you're going to need to know where your files from LA3 and LA4 are. We're going to be publishing both of those. And then the new file to be downloaded, which is a zip file, and you need to download and extract it so you have access to the files inside that. So you have that default folder. So you're going to need those. I'm going to do this activity and you can do it along with me from your end. I'm not going to do lots of description because there are several videos that teach you about all of these details, so you might want to watch the videos before or after for the details and more explanation about how to do each of these steps if there's something that you don't understand. So the first thing we're going to do is to go in the default folder, and in the index.html we want to add an icon. So we're going to add the link tag, and the relationship equals icon, the type equals image, and then we have to look at the file to find out what type it actually is. So if I go into images, we're going to be adding this dot icon, and it's a .png. Notice the icons are really small. This one's 16 bits by 16 bits. So we want to add that. So the type is PNG. Then we need href that goes to gives it a relative address. So we need to figure out where we are. So we're in this index.html. To go there, we need to get into that images folder, and we do that with images / that gets us in the folder. Once we're in the folder, we want that .icon.png. So we will add .icon.png. All right, so this should be, now this is, link tags are single tags, empty tags, so there's no closing or opening. First I want to show you what this looks like before. So I'll do an open here. All right, so we want to be inside this default folder, and I want to open that index.html. And notice that what I have, before I've saved that, I just get this piece of paper with the folded corner, so no icon there. Then I go ahead and save this and reload, and there it is, the icon shows up. Now I want that same icon on the other page, right? So the WISE telescope, I want it there, so I'm going to copy it. Remember that these go above the body. These are not, if you have a head section, they'll go inside that head section, but they're not considered content, right? At this point, these icons are not content, so we want to make sure they're up there outside the body. So now I do it to the WISE telescope, and there it is. So now both pages have that icon. All right, that's the first step, is to add that icon. The next step is to publish. So the first thing that we're going to publish, I'm going to use CyberDuck for publishing, and I need to make sure that I get logged on. So I have a demo student account. And I want to open that connection. So I do that, get to SFTP. The server is icarus.cs.weber.edu. Port 22 is filled automatically. It's demo student, and the last 4 digits of that student's W number, and the password that I have changed from the default. And I want to be able to connect. Okay, there's that public HTML. I want to get inside there, so I'm going to double click here. And okay, so here I am with the public HTML folder. I want to go inside there, so I double click on that. And now I'm logged in and ready to upload. The first thing we're going to upload is in LA3, the learning.html file. So I go to Uploads, find it. I've got it saved in quick access so that I can go to this folder quickly. Otherwise, it's quite a hunt. Go into LA3, and I want to upload learning.html. So here it comes. It's asking for my password again, which is unusual. And there I entered my password, and the file has been uploaded. So there it is. So we've got that file. Now we want to be able to, now we've uploaded it, we want to go find the URL for it. So remember that the URL is icarus.cs.weber.edu/ and then the tilde and the username. Our demo student that's the username, and then that gets us to the public HTML folder. So then I need to type the file that we're looking for, and I do that, and there is that file. Now what's missing? The web page, the images are missing. So why is that? Well, it's because those are relative addresses, and it's looking where it is. Right now it's on the web server, and those images are not there. So to make this work, I also need to upload the images in the same location. So I'm going to upload that entire folder. If I click on that entire folder and I choose, I can upload it. And my version seems to be asking for my password each time, which is a funny thing for that. All right, so now it's loaded that entire folder. So if I go back to the page and reload, now it can find those images. All right, so there's LA3 published and the URL for it. So that's what you're going to turn in, is that URL. Now we also want to publish LA4, and on this one, remember it was in a folder called HTML? And notice what's in there. There are 3 HTML files and a folder called images. So on this one, for the LA, what you need to do is upload the entire HTML folder. So this is a little bit different. Notice that I'm still in public_HTML, and now I'm going to upload the entire folder. So I go into LA4, and it's that HTML folder. So I choose that and upload. All right, now it's uploaded that entire folder, and there you see it, HTML. And if we double click on that, we find those 3 HTML files and that folder images. If we go in there, we have all the images. So now we need to go ahead and compose our URL. Now notice that one of the things that CyberDuck does is have you open the URL and copy. These are not the correct URLs. If you use these from CyberDuck, it won't work. You'll never find your page. So you need to know how to compose your own URL. icarus.cs.weber.edu/username demo student 65432. Now, this much of us gets us right to public HTML. If we stop here and enter, though, it's going to tell us we're forbidden. So the account is working, but we haven't specified a file, and there's no default, so it won't let us into that directory. So we have to keep going. Now, inside the public HTML, we need to get inside that HTML folder. So part of the path is HTML/. Then when I get inside that HTML folder, there's that learning.html. So learning.html. And there's that file and all of the images from LA4. All right, that was pretty straightforward. It's really easy to upload the entire folder. Everything kind of stays intact and works the way it is. And then compose the URL, put your account, then any folders in the path to get to the file, and then the file name. The last thing we're going to upload publish for this activity is that default folder. So go up capture that default folder and choose it. And there it's uploaded, and we can find the default there. Okay, so how do we compose this URL? Now what we're going to do is we're going to take advantage of this idea that we have used a default name, index.html, which means we don't actually have to list that file name. So for this one, we're still going to do the web server, icarus.cs.weber.edu/ and our username, demo student / Now this gets us again in public HTML, so let's go back up there where we are, and we need to go inside. Oh, look, my default folder is in the wrong place. I put it in my HTML folder. So what we can do here, I guess it's not wrong, I guess it's just inside HTML, so we can still get there. So inside public HTML, I've got to go inside the HTML folder. And then inside that folder, I need to go inside the default folder. And then, right, once I get inside that default folder, I want the index.html. But I don't have to list that. I can just end with default, push enter, and there it is. And it found everything. Okay. And notice the icon shows, all the images show up because the entire folder was uploaded. Now, if I want to move that so it's not in the HTML folder, I can just capture it and drag it out. And it asks if I want to move it. I say I do, and then it moves it up there right inside the public HTML. Now if I go and refresh, I've lost it. It can't find it because now the URL doesn't need that HTML in it. Right? It just uses the username, which gets me to public HTML, and then I go directly into default. And again, I don't have to put the index.html, and there's that page. So now I have the URL of that third page. And that's it. That's what you need to do for this learning activity. Add the icon to the scientific method and the wise.html. So both of those files, make sure you add that dot icon. Then publish learning.html and its associated files directly in public HTML. Publish the entire LA4 HTML directory and publish the entire default directory. And then turn in those three URLs. The URL for the LA3 version of learning.html, right? And I can tell it's directly in the public HTML folder by looking at the URL. Then turn in the URL for the learning.html that's inside the HTML folder. And then turn in the URL for the scientific method one without the index.html. So make sure it works without that index.html. Now watch when I copy that and I paste it, it doesn't show up as soon as I click enter. Okay, it doesn't show up when, it does show up when I click on these links, right? So make sure you send it to me without the index.html on it so you can see how that doesn't need to be part of the URL when you use a default file name. And